Curriculum of Playway Approach Supporting Communication Skills. Module 1. Understanding Play. Introduction to Play. Play in simple terms can be defined as an activity which gives a feeling of joy, and it's all about having fun. But to understand play, there is a meaning much more beyond this simple definition. Roughly, play can be understood from three perspectives. Play as a medium of learning where adults play a role in creating activities and play situations for a particular learning outcome. Play as a spontaneous activity where the child is in complete control of the situation. Therapeutic play where the child is helped to overcome physical and psychological problems through play, which will be again done under the supervision of a doctor or a psychiatrist. Play has a value as it teaches children to be social and enhances their social skills. Playing enhances creative, critical thinking and problem solving skills. Play helps in building healthy emotional, cognitive and physical development. In today's scenario, and according to the various research being conducted on play, there is a very sharp decline in play being the central aspect of a child's life. Therefore, now educationists, doctors, parents and researchers have realized that play is completely disappearing. There is a need to bring it back to the fore. Hence, early childhood centers are looking at including play as a part of the curriculum, and learning through play is an upcoming concept. To plan a curriculum that involves learning through play involves a lot of understanding about play. A brief look at the history of play and theories of play, which will help to plan a curriculum better using play as a central aspect. Learning outcome. At the end of this module, you will be able to understand the meaning and importance of play, understand play from historical and theoretical perspective, understand the practicality of the theories, use theories in planning curriculum. History of play, Western perspective. Tracing history of play dates back to the BC when Plato, Socrates, Aristotle and Xenophanes were the famous philosophers at that time. It is believed that apart from their famous discoveries, these philosophers have also explored the meaning of play. Play, according to these philosophers, is a way through which thought process and human expression can be understood. Plato mentioned in The Republic 360 BC that play builds childhood, which is a form of learning, and the knowledge acquired through it will be used for later life. Play was understood from three roots: agon, mimesis and chaos. Agon meaning conflict, mimesis meaning mimicry and chaos meaning order and disorder of nature. Play has gained importance only in the recent times. Until then, play was never considered as a central aspect for learning. Literature review suggests that the 17th century philosophers also felt play as a medium through which learning happens. It was the 17th century philosophers who started a revolution, and people were compelled to change their views on the concept and importance of play. In fact, children themselves were never given any importance. It was John Locke, a very famous British philosopher, who was the first to acknowledge childhood and children as an important and separate stage of development, and viewed play as an important and necessary part of childhood, and termed children as born players, and felt play as vital for health and spirit. The 18th century philosophers like Immanuel Kant, Friedrich von Schiller, Jean-Jacques Rousseau and Giovanna Pestalozzi brought play into fore and valued it. Jean-Jacques Rousseau's philosophy was the first to talk about play and was also instrumental in influencing the ideas of other philosophers about play and education. Play, according to Rousseau, gave freedom to children and a way to release pent up energy and emotions. Play is vital for development of the senses and also helps children experience the world through sensory experiences and to be in connection with things. Rousseau emphasized on the concept of learning by doing rather than learning by reading. Rousseau was also the first to explain the stages of human development. Johann Heinrich Pestalozzi, a Swiss writer, philosopher, also known as father of modern education, was influenced by the work of Rousseau and valued play as central to human fulfillment. Pestalozzi believed in the power of the head, heart and hand and also felt the need for a curriculum which is child-centered, developmentally appropriate and links home and school. Froebel, a German philosopher who proposed a kindergarten curriculum, was affected by the work of Pestalozzi and started the very first school for children following the kindergarten approach. History of play, Indian perspective. If literature regarding play dates back to the BC from the Western civilization, the Indian civilization also does not fall behind. The concept of play can be dated back to the 2500 BC, which happens to be the Indus Valley civilization period. The value and meaning of play is different from the Western context. Play has been explained in two levels, the macro level and the micro level. Kabir, Tagore, Ramdas and Rahim suggest that child's play are the antecedent of philosophy. Most of the Indian literature highlights play as physically engaging. Nothing has been described from a learning perspective. The Indian history from 2500 BC to the 16th century AD describes a rich heritage of sports and games, providing that play was considered important but from a different perspective. Theories of play. Classical theories of play emerged during the 19th and 20th century. Friedrich Schiller, surplus energy theory, suggests that a human being has a lot of energy built up in which can be released only through active play. Therefore, play is a medium of releasing this pent up energy. Mortis Lazarus' recreation or relaxation theory postulates that play is a form of a de-stressor which helps in restoring all the lost energy. Practice or pre-exercise theory, Carl Groves opines that play helps in survival for the future as it is a medium of practice important behaviors. Recapitulation theory of Stanley Halls argues that play acts as a catharsis in eliminating primitive and unnecessary instinctual skills and is not a medium for survival. Appleton's growth theory is in tune with Groves believing play is way of learning behaviors for survival, and ego expanding theories by Lange and Claparede conceptualizes that play is nature's way of balancing the ego and expressive exercising of the ego and the rest of the personality also, and exercising that enhances cognitive skills and helps in the emergence of additional skills. Sigmund Freud viewed play from a therapeutic perspective, and he describes play as a medium through which the child tries to master previously experienced traumatic events. Anna Freud viewed play as a mechanism to deal with anxiety. Brunner opined that in play, the child rehearses actions pertaining to real life situations in a protected environment, preparing himself or herself to face real life situations of the future, which is in coherence with Groves' theory. Dewey views play as a subconscious activity that helps a child to develop both mentally and socially. Play helps a child to grow into a working world. This childhood activity of play prepares them to become healthy working adults. Maria Montessori postulated that play is the child's work. Montessori emphasized sensory play, where the child learns through play by experiencing the world through their senses with the help of a teacher. Lewin and Beitendik's infantile dynamics says that play happens because cognitively the child is not in a position to judge the difference between the real and the unreal. The child plays because it's already pre-wired not to show any other forms of play behaviors other than play. Piaget explains play as progressing in stages in his stage theory of cognitive development. The stages are functional play. The child explores his surroundings with the help of his or her senses and gains an understanding of the environment, and his behavior is play for the child. Symbolic play. As the word says, child tries to represent real things symbolically in play. Games with rules. At this stage, the child's cognitive functions are more advanced and hence is ready to play more constructive games involving rules. Sarah Smilansky's work on play is influenced by Piaget's stage theory. Along with the three stages of play of Piaget's, she added a fourth stage, that is dramatic play. According to Vygotsky, play helps a child to learn to be social. Children encounter others while playing, and learning to interact using language and role play becomes a very important aspect, and thus social development is enhanced. Mildred Bernice Spartan Newhall observed children and explained that different play stages occur at different developmental stages and categorized 6 stages of play: unoccupied, onlooker, solitary, parallel, associative and cooperative play. Kenneth H. Rubin and his co-researcher associates worked on understanding children's social, dramatic and cognitive play, and the results led to combining Parton's and Smilansky's play categories and forming Rubin's stages of dramatic and imaginary play. Conclusion: a glance on the concept of play and play theories leads to better understanding of incorporating play into a curriculum and also supporting learning through play. Understanding play from theoretical perspective helps the educator understand the developmental stages of play a child is in and will be able to involve children in developmentally appropriate play activities.